Australian boxer Alex Lionheart Leapai has been on a journey both remarkable and inspirational.
Are we seeing rope-a-dope? Are we seeing rope-a-dope from Alex Leapai, who is starting to jackhammer right hands onto the big American?
The 34-year-old delivery man, forklift driver and part-time boxer is just one victory away from claiming one of sport's ultimate prizes, the heavyweight championship of the world. Leapai's rise through the professional ranks has mirrored his journey through life. 8 years ago, Alex spent 6 months locked up in a 4x3-meter cell at Woodford Maximum Security Prison.
In the past, I've done a lot of bad things. Those were the big problems that I had to overcome.
For the best part of a decade, the father of 6 was a lost and broken soul. But through the unwavering support of his family, friends, and trainer Noel Thornbury, the Lionheart is on the verge of rewriting sporting history by becoming the first Australian to unify the world heavyweight title.
I wanted that bad, and I believe in myself that I can do it, you know, and it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and, you know, just believing in yourself.
It's my honest belief that Alex can win the heavyweight championship of the world. Vladimir Klitchko is a very hard guy to beat, but Alex is a very hard guy to beat. He's got a very, very unorthodox style, and that's actually one of his strengths. Like, he throws an overhand right like a cricket ball. It's just something that you don't expect. He's a hard guy to read because sometimes he doesn't know what he's going to do himself. I encourage that. It's awkward, it's offbeat. And sometimes highly rhythmic boxers or athletes are thrown by that. And you combine that with the punching power that he's got and the physical strength that he's got. Well, it makes him a pretty hard guy to beat.
34-year-old Leapai hails from Logan City. It's a tough, working-class region nestled in between the flashiness of the Gold Coast and the state's capital, Brisbane. And it's where the Lionheart learned to fight.
I think I can win a world heavyweight title because, you know, I got the heart, I got the punches, the power, and a lot of the fighters out there just don't like in-your-face type fighting, you know, and that's the way I fight, you know.
The Lionheart had his first professional bout against the highly credentialed WBC campaigner Mark Demori from Perth. The pair went the distance in a furious showdown that was judged to be Australia's fight of the year. While there was little doubt he had the power, it was obvious he needed a world-class trainer to transform him from a boxer with potential to a lethal fighting machine.
To compare Alex today to when he first started, there is no comparison. He was just a diamond in the rough in them days. Nowadays he's a priceless gem, and we just got to put, you know, the finishing touches on him. Loose and sharp, that's it. Speed. Power's already there. Speed, loose and sharp. Come on.
Being with Noel, it's honestly, it's been a dream, you know. Like, something different about Noel, you know. He really points you the right direction, and he really works on your strengths. And the main thing with Noel is, you know, you got to believe in yourself. And he really, you know, practiced that with me, you know, really tells me, Alex, you know, we can do it. So I'm just really happy to have Noel on my side, and as my corner man, as my manager, trainer. He definitely knows what he's talking about.
He's in trouble, Big Bob. He's got it already. Big Bob Mirovic is against the ropes and he's out, Big Bob. The eyes are rolling back in the head.
Alex continued to rise through the heavyweight ranks with some stunning knockouts.
And he's just proven that. He's still throwing, Big Bob. Oh, he is gone now. Bob Mirovic is down for the
But there was a major component missing in his armor. His diet was inadequate, and his core strength, endurance and body fat percentage needed to drastically improve. Dan Tucson is an expert in biomechanics.
At the start, it wasn't so much more, training to get him big and powerful, because he's already a big, powerful guy. It was more getting him strong, getting him stable, but getting his nutrition right to improve his endurance and his energy.
After a series of knockouts against world-class heavyweights, the Lionheart's ranking by 2013 had risen to number 9 by the World Boxing Organization known as the WBO. The little-known Samoan-born Australian fighter had started to make ripples in the heavyweight division. The battler from Logan City in Queensland was on the verge of challenging for a possible tilt at the World Heavyweight title. To even get to that stage was a miracle. Like many young men from working-class background, Alex's life began to skid out of control after his initial dream of becoming a professional rugby league player was ruined when he was banned for life for deliberately assaulting a referee.
I had the credentials to play NRL. I mean, it was that good. I even got a scholarship to play for the Cowboys. But it's just, one time I thought, I'll go and play with, all the bunch of old teammates. And I was just on the field, and I did a big tackle on one of the forwards and pretty much wiped them out. And the ref didn't like it. And I took it out on the ref. I just did the wrong thing, something you're not supposed to do, and pretty much ended my career. And,
you pushed him out.
Yeah, well, it's you're not supposed to do it. It ended my career in football. So.
The immediate aftermath of losing the chance to play professional rugby saw Leapai's life spiral out of control. His drinking increased, and he became caught up in substance abuse. But worst of all, he began to take out his frustration on his family.
Like, he's done, like I said, a lot of bad things. And he's done some bad things to families.
Now, I'm not playing footy anymore, I'm banned from football. I've had all the spare time, and all I could do was drink. Drink and party with the boys. And just this one night I went out to the clubs, a couple of friends and uncle and all that stuff. And just want to, my uncle didn't get in, but just the way the bouncers harassed him and all that. And they actually hurt him. And I didn't like it. So I took my frustrations out on the bouncers. I took them all out. But that was one of the worst things I'd done, and I ended up inside doing some time.
In 2005, Alex was sentenced to 6 months in a maximum security prison north of Brisbane. The memory of that day will never fade away.
Well, that day still haunts me today. I still can see myself standing in front of the court and just listening to the judge read out the sentence. Just to see the faces of my mum and dad, it broke my heart. Because I knew then that I've let them down. I knew then that all the hard work of trying to get us to Australia to get a good education, it has all gone out the window, you know. So no parent wants their son or any child to go in prison. So, but for me to go to prison, it really broke, my mum and dad's hearts. So.
Alex had some rough patches when he was younger. I actually did too. So I could identify with Alex and where he'd come from, and so like we gelled. We became more than trainer and fighter. We became friends. And which, sometimes I've got to take a step back from as well and take the role of a trainer. However, I always seen that, there was good in Alex and there was obvious potential as far as the sport of boxing goes. But it was just because of his stability and as far as his family is concerned, his mother, his father, he cherishes the ground they walk on, and he loves his own kids. I thought to myself, well, this guy really wants to do something for himself and he's got a reason to do it, so let's get behind him.
The Lionheart's transformation from a street thug to a man of honor began in a lonely prison cell.
Being inside, you got all the time in the world inside. Inside there I didn't talk to anybody, and I got closer to the Lord. And he was always there. I spoke to the man upstairs, and I got on my knees and I prayed. And he spoke to me. He just gave me a second chance. And I knew then that I had to change and do something good for myself. Do something good for my family. And I believe that the Heavenly Father was giving me a second chance, and to be able to come out of that place and then to do what I'm doing now. I thank the man upstairs.
Alex had grown up in a proud Christian family. He returned to his congregation, the Logan Central branch of the London Missionary Society. Behind Alex, his father, Alex Leapai, a Samoan chief and former heavyweight boxer, and a very proud man. Alex, blessed with a strong tenor voice, returned to singing hymns in his native Samoan language. It didn't take long once he returned to normal society for the Lionheart to find both peace and purpose. The transformation in the once angry young man has been inspirational.
I've never been proud of him as a brother, and I thank God for blessing me for allowing my brother. So I'm very proud, very proud.
It's all about family now for me. It's all about trying to do the right thing for my kids, and for everybody who knows who I am, and just to show them that you can change, and that the choices you make now, if you make the right choice, you'll go the right way. You make the wrong choice, you end up in the place that I was in.
With his family's undying support and his association with trainer Noel Thornbury, Alex began to make the world of heavyweight boxing sit up and take notice. By October 2013, the Lionheart's record stood at 30 wins, 24 devastating knockouts, and 4 losses. Ranked number 9 in the world in the WBO, trainer Noel Thornbury had successfully negotiated a fight with the number 1 contender to Ukrainian superstar Vladimir Klitchko's world title. Russian golden boy Dennis Boystov had an impressive record on the surface, 33 wins and no losses. He was to fight Alex in Bamberg, Germany on the 23rd of November, and nobody in the world gave the Australian Samoan slugger a chance. Alex Leapai had just over a month to prepare for the biggest fight of his career against the undefeated Russian Dennis Boystov. But unbeknown to all but just a select few, the Lionheart had suffered 2 significant injuries that were going to hinder his preparation. In a routine sparring session in Sydney, he tore his calf muscle. Coupled with an already strained Achilles, Leapai would have to live up to his nickname, the Lionheart, to overcome the greatest challenge of his boxing career. Forced to travel to Sydney to find sparring partners, Leapai stepped up his training as the countdown to the Boystov stoush drew closer. Sparring partners avoid Alex like the plague because he simply punches too hard. 3 fighters were supposed to spar the Lionheart, but they failed to show up. He returned home to Queensland. While he was still able to box and deliver that devastating overhand right, Leapai was unable to run, yet somehow he had to maintain his endurance. The pool became his domain as he trudged up and down, lap after lap, to maintain his aerobic fitness. But his torn calf and strained Achilles tendon were causing him noticeable discomfort. Despite his injuries, trainer Noel Thornbury insisted that Alex's desire and power would see him dominate Boystov, legs or no legs.
I believe that right now Alex, for one punch, is the hardest punching heavyweight in the world today. And, you know, Dennis Boystov couldn't possibly have recently, well, I know for a fact, the opponents in his face to date, none of them, their power doesn't even come close to Alex's power. So he's going to be in a whole new situation himself come fight night.
Just 2 weeks out from the world title eliminator against Boystov, the Lionheart was desperately searching for legitimate sparring partners. Ultimately, he found one. One of his best friends in former number 7 ranked World Boxing Council fighter Solomon Homona. But Leapai's torn calf muscle was getting worse.
Alex is a gentleman, and mate, I'll tell you what, yeah, he can hit very hard. You know, I've been in there with the likes of Carly Meehan and The Rock, Rahman, and mate, I put him right up there. I think Alex has got the you know, the aggression and the will, you know, to sort of break, you know, the boxing tacticians that you know, Boystov's got behind him. But I believe, you know, it'll be a fair fight, but I believe Alex will get it over him.
As a younger fighter, Russian Dennis Boystov was regarded as the next big thing in the world of heavyweight boxing. Undefeated in 33 bouts, Boystov could be excused for underestimating the power of the Lionheart.
Well, this would be a real blue-collar rise to the top. He hasn't had the limelight on him, he hasn't had all the big sponsorship backing, or he hasn't had anything like that. He's had to do it the hard way. So I think it's a real good story for Australian boxing and for the way boxing really is. The way he had been, he'd have a puncher's chance against anybody because that's been his forte. But I really think that he's in the right training, he's had the right sparring. If ever there was an opportunity where everything aligned right for an opportunity, it's now for him.
Australia has already produced 3 boxers who have claimed lesser-known versions of the world heavyweight title. The most notable, Joe Bugner. His career ended in triumph when, aged 48, he captured the lesser-known World Boxing Federation title. Throughout the 70s, Joe twice went the distance with Muhammad Ali. He also went 15 rounds with Joe Frazier, and he was widely regarded as the best white man fighter in the world. Bugner predicted that Leapai could well have his hands full against Boystov.
I believe that you know, the Russian boy can box a bit. I mean, he's not only a reasonably good puncher, but he's also a reasonably good boxer. I mean, I haven't seen a great deal of our boy here in Australia, how good he is in the boxing ring after 3 or 4 rounds, because I don't think his fights went any further than that.
24 durch Knockout bei 3 Unentschieden. Sein Coach, Noel Thornbury, geboren auf Samoa. Er lebt in Logan City, Queensland, Australia. Alex, the Lionheart, Leapai.
After arriving in Germany just 4 days before the fight, Leapai was battling jet lag, a torn calf muscle, and a strained Achilles tendon. As a further incentive in the world title eliminator, Alex had put up his WBO Asian Pacific title.
Give me a good, hard, clean fight and obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, good luck to both of you.
The fight was relatively close after the first 7 rounds, although the Australian was landing the biggest shots.
Around the back of the head. Oh, there you go.
In the 7th round, Alex sent Boystov to the canvas, the first knockdown of the fight.
The top and the left hook pretty much just helped him on his way, but...
In the 9th round, the Australian's power was beginning to tell. The Russian was a beaten man as he was dropped for the 2nd time in the bout.
Last bell goes. And if Leapai wins that, which he surely did that last round.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the scorecards. Und Sieger dieses Gefechts aus Australien, Alex Leapai.
Leapai's shocked. He thought he'd lost it.
But it still came as a surprise when it was announced that Leapai had caused one of the biggest upset wins in the heavyweight division.
To the fact he was going to be robbed, and then you look at the way that first card went against him by 98 to 92, you wonder.
Im Ring, so behaart haben, was für rührende Szenen.
Mumulaban si ibig naman paftay tua. Hoy man may talungan ni afya. Tay Samoa, tay Australia.
The Lionheart returned home in wheelchair to a hero's reception. During the fight, he had broken his hand and been thumbed in the left eye. He also had 2 tears in his calf muscle and a strained Achilles tendon.
My game plan was I was going to knock him out, but in round 7, that was the round I was looking because I knew he was moving. But then my leg went, and I went to the corner, and you can see it on the photo. I was telling him, no, leg's gone. And Noel just said, don't worry about your leg, you got another leg, keep going. So I, just cut out the pain and just pull through.
But the magnitude of what laid ahead, a mandatory fight against the seemingly unbeatable Vladimir Klitchko for the world heavyweight title, had become the Lionheart's new focus.
Yeah, Klitschko's the next step, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the exact same thing to Klitschko. They're all beatable. Like I said before, they've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a heartbeat. I'm going to test his heart out and see how good it is.
The delivery driver from the tough suburbs of Logan City is now in line for the biggest payday in Australian boxing history. Now it was time for the Lionheart to prepare for the biggest battle of his life, taking on Ukrainian superstar Vladimir Klitchko for one of the greatest prizes in sport. Within days of his triumphant return to Australia, Alex Leapai had suddenly become a worldwide media event. On top of Brisbane's highest peak, the man who had climbed the mountain was now firmly switched into Klitschko mode.
I've watched Klitschko's last 10 fights, and a lot of the guys who's fought him just don't, have a dig, and I don't know if they're in it for the money, but for me it's not about the money. It's about putting Australia on the map And you know, 100, 200 years down the track, you know, no money can pay for store mentioning my name. So that's how important it is, just to let the world know that we do have Australian heavyweights and they can fight.
We've watched Klitschko, we have had the luxury of sitting back and analysing his whole career. And I know Alex's strengths and I know Vladimir's weaknesses. I just think that we can capitalise on some of those weaknesses that Vladimir Klitschko's got. Everyone talks about the 61 victories that he's got. He's got 3 defeats. We look at those 3 defeats. None of those 3 guys could punch nearly as hard as Alex. And I don't think any of the guys are as physically strong or tough either. It's all going to come down to this and what he does on the night. So I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that Australia's going to have its first ever World Heavyweight Champion.
With the contract and the dates for his fight against Vladimir Klitschko locked in, it was finally time for the Lionheart to meet the World Heavyweight Champion known as Dr. Steelhammer, the seemingly invincible mountain of a man who has remained undefeated in the heavyweight ranks for over a decade. In Oberhausen, Germany, the Lionheart had just a few days to inspect his training facility, adjust to the freezing weather, and finally meet his nemesis face to face.
This is
good for the training?
Yeah, very flash gym, man. This better than one in Australia. I know, better than the gyms in Australia. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Very nice gym.
It's good?
Very good.
It's a pretty good setup here, isn't it?
It's not bad, eh? It's definitely a lot better than a lot of gyms have in Australia. It's got, man, it's, I wonder why the fighters on this side of the world are real good, you know, they got everything. No, just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah? No friend of...
I talk heaps when we fight.
Yeah.
I let the hands do the talk.
Let your hands speak?
Yeah.
Klitschko speaks 4 languages and is a doctor of sports science. Rather than the normal pre-fight battle of egos, the giant Ukrainian treated Alex with the utmost respect.
I can see in Alex's gesture, in his voice, his face, in his eyes, that he's determined to become a champion. It doesn't bother him to be underdog. So wouldn't I be bothered. That's his life chance. And probably he's gonna have only one in boxing. I don't know about the other activities, but in boxing. And of course, if any other fighter wants to use this chance and be the champion, you're not the first one, you're not the last one. And I'll do anything in my power to defend my titles the way I've done it previously and the way I'm gonna do on the April 26th. Thank you.
I respect Vladimir Klitchko, what he's done for the heavyweight division, and he's been world champion for a very long time. But he just hasn't felt anybody with my power. And believe me, things are going to change on April 26th. You know, we can go on about this and that, but there is going to be a new heavyweight champion on April 26th. You know, you see this guy on TV and all that, but actually now face to face with him, it's a dream come true.
I didn't choose Alex as opponent. He chose himself. He made it. He put himself on the map. And this man deserves respect. He's very spectacular in the way with his style and the way how he fights. He's in a certain way unpredictable because the punches are coming from all over the place. And he's not a standard fighter. And I think that he's going to give me really, really hard work in the ring on April 26th. And I think that his quality of taking and ability to take punch will make the night a little longer. I will assure you that even the toughest chin in this world can become a glass chin when a steel hammer gonna hit it.
You know, I've fought a lot of taller guys, you know, just like Vladimir, and it's pretty much no difference, you know.
Team Lionheart is led by arguably one of the finest trainers in boxing. Noel Thornbury is no stranger to world title fights, having already trained 2 men to the top.
This is the 3rd fighter from our stable in Gatton to fight for a world championship. Now all 3 of those fighters are going to be in the corner on that night, lending their experience and their support to Alex in the hope that he wins the heavyweight championship of the world. That's why I'm going to have my brother Ricky Thornbury, who's a 3-time world title challenger veteran, and Marcelino Masoi, the former WBA middleweight champion of the world. He'll be in the corner with me also, and Alex's father.
Noel's love of boxing came from his father, Trevor the Iceman Thornbury. And despite a near tragedy that would turn most people away from the sweet science, Noel kept the tradition of the fighting Thornburys alive and kicking.
Dad was one of Australia's premier fighters, and he was a regular main eventer at Brisbane Festival Hall back in the late 60s, early 70s. Dad, through dehydration, collapsed in his last fight against a guy named Jackson McQuaid, and he was in a coma for 6 weeks. Never has he since been able to remember anything that ever happened in a boxing ring. However, I myself was fascinated by the sport of boxing, and I never read a comic, I never tried to read anything except for boxing magazines. And so I was super passionate about the sport of boxing since I was a little child.
A love of boxing that had begun in the crib continued for Noel Thornbury into his adult life. A decision to give up his own boxing career to take over the training of younger brother Ricky proved to be the turning point of his coaching career.
Ricky said to me, he says, I'm going to have a real go at this, Noel. And I said, well, you know what, I'll train you, because one of us has got to be the trainer, and you're you know, Rick never used to drink, never smoked, and he was always very, very dedicated. So I said, okay, let's give this a go. Rick ended up winning 2 Australian titles. He won the IBO World Super Middleweight title from Rod Carr. He was a Commonwealth champion. And then we went on, and Ricky's fought Joe Calzaghe, Sven Otke, 2 all-time great super middleweights, losing on points to them both. And then I thought, well, you know, things might quieten down now that Ricky's retired, but it didn't work out that way. Marcelino Masoi came along, and I took over his affairs, and Marcelino eventually won the WBA middleweight championship, knocking out Evans Ashira over in Miami on one of Don King's promotions. So from there, one night we're in Gatton, and I said to Marcelino, I said, there's a good young Samoan heavyweight going to box tonight down at the Broncos. And I said, do you want to come along and have a look at him? And he said, I'd love to. Now, they drew that night, and Marcelino looked at him, and he said, he walked over to him and he spoke to Mace. He said, to Alex, he said, Alex, he said, you're strong, you can punch, you're tough, you've got everything going for you, but you need to learn how to box. You should speak to Noel.
At that same fight night was Brisbane property developer Phil Murphy.
On that first night we met, he told me then he had a dream to be the heavyweight champion of the world one day. And he came into the ring and he knelt down to pray. And just seeing that was very special to me, because I love the Lord. And I picked up straight away that he loves the Lord, and I just said, well, look, Alex, I'll support you to achieve your dream. And the way I'll support you, if you want to give up work and stop working and go and train full time, I'll support you. I'll look after you. Whatever you're getting at work, I'll look after you plus.
You know, Phil Murphy, through the years, we're just growing close in our relationship. I don't look at him as a sponsor anymore. I just look at him. He's like a father figure to me. He just wants me to focus on one thing: is boxing.
But before Leapai could seriously begin his preparation for his clash with Klitchko, there was one important journey he had to make. A return to the land of his birth, the beautiful South Pacific island of Samoa. The warrior had defeated the enemy, and it was time to celebrate. Emotions flowed as he reunited with his mother, Letu, for the first time in over a year. Alex was already a favorite son before becoming the #1 contender to the World Championship. Now he was being feted as a warrior god. The Lionheart, born in the village of Lauli, was welcomed home accompanied by a band of fellow warriors. The entire population of this little village turned out to honor his return. His father, Fataui, is the local store owner and a village elder.
Well, the Lionheart originated from this village, Lauli. It's just the way the people is. They all stand together. If we were going to go to war with another village, all the people here will stand as one. Hopefully I can make them proud and and go there and win this world championship. So that's where it comes from, and that's why they call me the Lionheart.
The return to his home village was honored by a blessing service performed by ministers from the London Missionary Society.
Sustainer of the universe, we humbly beseech your Holy Spirit to be upon this young man, the son of ours and our country. Give him good courage so that he will fight again.
In Samoa, those that have departed are still part of the family. Alex, whose Samoan name is Elise, was named after his grandfather, who lies at rest in his mother's home.
His name is Elise as well, and that's where I get my name. Alex is just my boxing name, and Elise is my real name. I get it from my grandfather, and he's another determined person when it comes to sport. He doesn't like losing, and I guess I get a bit of that from my grandfather. And look, I'm really happy to be here with my family and that, and it's a big thing for everybody over here in Samoa. I know my grandfather will be proud of me, and we're gonna work hard to bring it home so I could bring that belt and show it to my grandfather. It's just an amazing feeling. I've never felt this before, and never had this type of treatment. So look, I know how important this is to my family and my village and the whole of Samoa. So look, I will be going to war with this guy, and I'll be putting everything on the line, and to bring it home for my country. It means that much to them, and I'll be prepared for the fight.
Next, it was on to Parliament House, where the Lionheart was greeted by members of the Samoan cabinet. He also received a blessing from the Prime Minister, a rare honor in Samoan culture. Should he be victorious against Klitchko, the Parliament has decided to celebrate his performance by declaring an annual public holiday. From a childhood on an island where time has stood still, Leapai has grown from a shy young man with a troubled background to a person of dignity and integrity.
We'll remember this trip to Samoa for the rest of our lives. We've seen so many different things, we've only been here a short time.
I believed in his dream from the time I met him, but to see where he is today is beyond comprehension. To know that this really good battler from Kingston, or Logan, who's come from hard yards, to be at this point in his life is just exceptional. There's not many words, or not any words really can describe it. It's just, it's hard to explain, but I'm so blessed to be part of it.
This village, the spirit of this village inspires Alex. He often talks to me about other people in his village and the spirit of the village, and how everybody joins together as one, whether they're getting together for a wedding, a funeral, or they're going to war. So there's very, very much a strong sense of spirit in this village. You can feel it. It's as thick as butter. But and it's inspired Alex, no doubt, to be in the position that he's in today.
Even now, he is so relaxed. He is calm. There's nothing phases him. He just gets about what he's on about, or what he's got to do, and does it without any trepidation.
The awakening of his warrior spirit on the island of his birth would stand him in good stead for what lay ahead.
I've seen, the life in Samoa and that, and I guess everybody's got it, but somehow I've unlocked mine, and look, people are going to see it when I fight Klitschko, where it comes from, and the real bad side of me, the warrior side of me. It's all going to come out on April 27th.
Marcelino Masoe is Samoa's first and only world champion to date. Alex Leapai on April 27th will be the second world champion. I do believe there's a great fighting spirit in this nation, and I also believe there's a lot of talent just walking around the island here that could be well developed. There's future world champions here. It's just a gem in the middle of the Pacific.
A heavyweight with lethal power, Alex possesses one of the most dangerous overhand rights in boxing. He learned to throw the punch after years of playing junior cricket in the village.
The overhand, it's just funny because I played Samoan cricket. Just the way I bowl in the Samoan cricket, it kind of developed that overhand. And just one day I said to Noel, if you can hold the pad at a different angle, I'm just going to do this one punch. And Noel was really surprised. And it took a bit of time to hold the pad for that type of punch, because it's one of those punches that is real awkward. And it's really hard to do, and somehow I developed that through playing cricket. So if you want to know how to do the overhand, go and play cricket, Samoan cricket, and you end up doing the overhand that I do.
Alex was treated like a king throughout his 4-day stay in Samoa. Rather than a distraction, his heroic return to the village of Leilei had proved to be inspirational. His time in paradise was all too brief, but when he returns, he hopes to be wearing a world championship belt. Leapai had 6 weeks to prepare for the biggest fight in the history of Australian boxing. But if he thought he could simply concentrate on training, he was in for a surprise. In the space of just 3 months, the Lionheart had risen from obscurity to become the most sought-after athlete in Australia.
But you know, Alex is handling it. He's taken it all on his stride now, and he's become more comfortable talking about his story, because after all, it is his story. And I said, look, all these people are interested in is you and what you've done, because you've gotten to be in the position that you are. You used to be a delivery van driver, and you've worked hard and you've turned your life around, and people want to know how you did it, and that's a great thing.
When he finally did get to train in Kostya Tszeu's gym in Sydney, once again the only sparring partner willing to put his own body on the line was good friend Solomon Homano.
I hit hard. You know, I ask all the guys who I spar, you know, and I've got a lot of guys who I spar today, they might come back tomorrow, or they won't answer their phone calls, but I'm just thankful I got Solomon Homano. He's one tough bloke, you know, and he's there to help me out, you know, and
you certainly know the next day working with Alex, you know, and we're helping each other, you know, because we know what we aspire to be, and you know, I'm aspiring to be where Alex is, you know, one day, and it's just a tremendous, you know, like thing to see Alex achieve what he's dreamt all along.
In the final days before a world title fight, it's as much a mental battle as it is physical.
I just feel that it's our time, you know, and like you said, it's been 10 years, Klitschko hasn't been beaten, and I feel he's comfortable, you know, he's comfortable, he's thinking that nobody, you know, he's untouchable, you know, but he's going to be shocked. He's an Australian bloke, he can fight, and he's coming to get it.
Alex Leapai truly believes he can cause the greatest upset in the history of professional boxing. He has pictured himself knocking out the mighty Vladimir Klitchko over and over again.
I've had a 100% successful rate with the big guys, you know, and I've fought guys bigger than Klitschko.
Look, he does have a lot of advantages over Alex physically. You know, he's taller. I suppose he's more experienced too. He's taller. Actually, taller is the only real physical advantage I see. He's not actually heavier than Alex. He's not stronger than Alex. He doesn't punch harder than Alex. He's not tougher than Alex. He's got height and reach, yeah. But you know what? Everybody's had height and reach that's fought Alex. And absolutely, we have a specific game plan going into this bout. But yeah, we'll see that on the 27th of April.
Once he feels what I've got, his game plan's going to go out the window.
8 years ago, Alex Leapai's life was in turmoil. He had no self-esteem, but he has looked into his soul and discovered the Lionheart that had been there all along.
Without self-belief, nobody has anything. All the ability in the world takes you nowhere if you don't have that self-belief. And the self-beliefs come from being there and doing it, and fighting guys like Dennis Boystov, inspiring good fighters. Australia, in the boxing world, they underrate themselves. And you know, you get guys like Jeff Fennick, Kostya Tszeu, Johnny Famishon, Jimmy Carruthers, Lionel Rose, all these guys, if they listen to what everybody had said to them, you know, about can they make it or can't they make it, well, they'd never be nothing either. But these guys had self-belief. It's the reason that they made it. And Alex has got that same self-belief, so we're going to be employing that, you know, not only now, but for the rest of his career and the rest of his life.
It's just a matter of getting out there and believing in yourself and go and try and don't give up, you know, and just have good people around you pushing you, you know.
It doesn't get any bigger than the heavyweight championship of the world, and especially not the heavyweight championship of the world, the Lionheart heavyweight champion, Vladimir Klitchko, who's been the dominant force in the division for the past 10 years. The heavyweight championship of the world goes way, you know, way back to, you know, John L. Sullivan, Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney, Rocky Marciano, Joe Lewis, Max Schmeling, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. These are the people. Mike Tyson, and in more recent times, and now Vladimir Klitchko. So this is the company that he's going to be keeping as he becomes heavyweight champion of the world.
We're heavyweights. People want to see two guys who just bang, you know, and I feel I've got the same style as, you know, the great Mike Tyson and David Tua, and I just want to bring that old style back.
That self-belief, like so much in Alex's life, comes from above.
I asked the man upstairs, just to guide me through the fight, but not just me, guide both fighters, that no one gets hurt, and just hope that have my hand raised at the end of the fight. So it's always worked for me, and on the night I'll be doing the same thing. And I always point to the skies, point to the heavens, and just letting them know I'm going to war, mate. Be with me.
Now he is determined to repay those who have stuck by him by overcoming one final challenge.
It's my time, just to prove to them that that I'm a good person. That whatever happened in the past is the past, but we can all change, and I'm gonna prove on that night to my parents. It's not gonna be easy, but nothing is easy. You gotta go out there and have a dig, and I'm gonna go out there and give it all. Every little inch in my body, I'll be pushing, right to the last spell.
This is a beautiful story, and it's a real story. And seeing where Alex has come from and to where he is in Germany for the world title against Klitchko, this is an amazing story.
He defied the odds when he upset #1 contender Dennis Boystov last year. Finally, the Lionheart has reached the stage where he can silence his demons once and for all.
To see, my dad jump up and down. Yeah. No, it meant heaps to me. I just got one more to go. One more to go.